Hey everybody, it's Ed. I thought I would give a little bit more of an in-depth review of both episodes 1 and episodes 2 of Agent Elvis that premiered on Netflix March 17th, which was yesterday. I so far have watched episodes 1, 2, and 3, but I did a overall general impression of what I thought of episode 1, and I generally really enjoyed it. I thought the humor was funny. I laughed a lot. Um, it's not going to be for everybody. That's for certain. And I could definitely see where many Elvis fans may get upset with certain things, but it's really not meant to be taken seriously. And it is. I think it's really funny. It's making me laugh. It's tickling my funny bone immensely. Is really the best way I could put it. I feel it is done very tongue in cheek. I love the way that Elvis is portrayed so far on the show. He's very laid back, he's very cool, and it's I don't know how to describe it, but it's just I think it's very fitting. I think it's very fitting for the caricature of Elvis, and he I don't know. I so far, really the best I could say is I'm really enjoying this show, and I am looking forward to finishing up the rest of the episodes and giving my thoughts on them. All right, but get into spoilers a little bit. So, in the first episode, Elvis, he well, he winds up basically meeting with Charles Manson, who, well, you find out early in the episode that Elvis is allegedly on a kill list, and he is able to thwart the first attempt, and then he finds out about him being on this kill list, and then him going out to try and find out why he's on this kill list, and then we get a little bit more of a background into the show. Now, there is one scene in the first episode where they kind of do like a flashback where it looks like that Elvis's mind was somehow erased at one point, like he went through some training and to be a spy or an agent or whatever it is. I mean, ultimately, it's really he's more like almost like a superhero in the show in the things that he does, and just does with such ease. And again, the way that it's played off and it's done like so cool and collective. Like when Elvis basically loses his cool, he's still keeping his cool. It's really funny, and like I said in my earlier review, I think that it's nuanced. Um, there's a lot of drug use in it, and it's funny because a lot of the drug use that's going on around Elvis, and not stuff that he would normally partake in, but I'm finding this show really, really funny. Scatter the monkey is freaking hysterical. Um, and it's really funny because anytime Scatter utters something, it's kind of like the Lassie trope where Elvis understands everything that he says. And again, it makes me laugh. Again, all right, you know what? I guess there's really not too many spoilers or anything that I can get into on the first episode. The second episode, I really wanted to talk about because it made me like, oh, one thing I did want to mention about the first episode, which was nice. It was dedicated to the memory, of course, of Lisa Marie Presley. Now, the second episode, it opens up where Elvis is in his powder blue jumpsuit with the cape, and he's crawling through the desert. And all of a sudden, he encounters a rattlesnake, and he pulls out his gun and he goes to shoot it, and he has no bullets. He just blankly says, fuck you, Vegas. And then it cuts to, the beginning of the show, and they do like a montage of Vegas. And it's really cool. There's a lot of Easter eggs and things if you're a big Elvis fan in these cartoons that I've noticed so far in the first 3 episodes. But as they're doing the montage of Vegas, you see a cartoon caricature of Colonel Parker in his white like painter's coat with all the Elvis movie titles on it, and he's holding an actual photo of Elvis in the lobby. and then you see Elvis on stage, and it's funny because he's singing "Viva Las Vegas," and he's in front of the crowd, like, performing in a concert, and all of a sudden he has like one of those flashbacks that we saw in the first episode, where he sees something on stage and it makes him flashback, and it looks like something else that he remembers earlier in his life, and it goes to a black and white flashback, and all of a sudden he looks at the backup singers, and it flashbacks, and it looks like it's a group of people that are ready to attack him, and then he looks at Ronnie Tutt on the drums, and, he has his drumsticks in his hand, and all of a sudden it flashes to a black and white version of some like assassin with two things in his hand, like nunchucks, I guess, and he's spinning them around, and all of a sudden you just see Elvis go into his karate, like he's fighting the demons that are in his head. And all of a sudden, he just starts beating the crap out of Ronnie Tutt, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, poor Ronnie. And it's brutal, but then he snaps himself out of it, finishes the song, and then everything just goes on as it's normal. Oh, I found that really, really hysterical. If you have not seen this episode, please watch it and tell me what you think of that particular scene, because I could not stop laughing. And then, of course, after the show, Priscilla's like, oh, wow, that was great. And, I'm paraphrasing. She's like, oh, the karate was different tonight. He's like, oh, yeah, about that. Sorry, Ronnie. And you see Ronnie being carried out in the stretcher. He's like, yeah, no problem, boss. And she's like, is he going to be all right? He's like, oh, yeah, shit, yeah. Ronnie's a pro. Meanwhile, his upper leg, you see the bone sticking out of it. He's all messed up, missing teeth. It was really bad. So I'm just like, my God, why would they abuse Ronnie like that? But at the end, I guess I got my answer. If anything, it showed love to Ronnie. And the thing that kind of hit me about it was why Ronnie was because when the last Elvis on Tour box set was just finally released, and you looked in the credits of the band members, Ronnie Tutt's name was omitted from that. So, like that was one of the first things that popped in my head. And of course, we just recently lost Ronnie, about a year and a half ago, unfortunately. And yeah, so at the end of the episode, they wound up dedicating it to the loving memory of Ronnie Tutt. And so that I found really good. And I thought it was fitting. And you know what? I bet Ronnie would have enjoyed it and laughed his ass off, because it was funny. Very well done. But the rest of the episode, his female, well, I don't want to say she's the antagonist or protagonist, really. Not, she's a spy of some sort, I would guess, or an agent, and she's trying to get Elvis to meet her boss, who really wants to meet Elvis. And her character's name is Cece with an E. And the chemistry between them is really funny, because she's younger than Elvis, and she keeps, putting that age thing and about, his music and what his appeal was, and how, she just doesn't get it. And there's some really funny banter about that too. So I'm just, so far, out of the 3 episodes, I am enjoying this show immensely. I'm looking forward to completing the run. And, as I go along and watch them, I'll take notes so that this way I can give better details, because unfortunately my mind is just, it's shot. But overall, I am thoroughly enjoying this, and I hope you are too. I from the comments that I've received during my first video, it seems the majority of you are enjoying it. Some of you are not. Some of you are not even giving it a shot, and that's fair. But I think if you are an Elvis fan and you have the means to watch it, meaning you have Netflix or you have access to Netflix, I would give it a shot. I mean, well, give it 25 minutes. Try the first episode. I think the first episode should be your litmus test. Either you're gonna know if this is for you or if it's not for you. I think pretty much within the first 5 minutes, I was engaged and I was interested in it, and like I said, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I am coming up on 10 minutes. I really don't know much more I can say. I think yesterday I was giving it an 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to move it up to a 9 out of 10 at this point, because I am enjoying it that much. I'm laughing. I laughed so hard at points I was crying. That whole Ronnie Tutt scene, I had tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. It was just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I think that's a lot of it too, is you can't believe what you're seeing. And it's just, it's fun. I think that's really the best way to put it. I think it's a lot of fun. And what I think is kinda cool about it too is it there's, Elvis was a big gun guy, so there's a lot of him with guns and everything else. Um, it's just, you know what? I'm not gonna get into the political of it. All right, everybody, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Take care.